Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Philly Cooking with Maurice. And this episode, I'm going to go over the matchup for Week 4, Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If that sounds familiar, that was the same exact matchup last year, Week 4. The last time Jalen Hurts lost a football game where he started and finished the football game. So it's been almost a full year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Todd Bowles and his defense, has always given Jalen Hurts and this offense problems. Under Jalen Hurts, he's 1-4 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It seems like they play every year, just like the Chiefs. So this is no different. Coming off at least one bad half and one good half of offensive football versus the LA Rams, this matchup is really up in the air. Saquon Barkley has been put a lid on by every defense he's played so far this year. I foresee the same happening in this game. I think if the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game, it's going to be on the arm of Jalen Hurts, and that's where the matchup really begins at. Last year, they didn't have Jalen Hurts. They didn't have, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on the field. This year they have both. They have Goddard. They have pretty much their entire offensive weaponry to go up against this Buccaneers defense. Now, the Buccaneers defense last week had 4 sacks. Levante David, Antoine Winfield Jr., both of them had sacks, and they're going to be the impact players that you need to watch going into this game. Winfield depends on who he matches up against. If he matches up against A.J. Brown, it's going to be a great matchup to watch. I will say that. Now, last week against the Rams, the offense really got going when they threw the ball down the field to A.J. Brown. I foresee the same thing happening this week. I think they've learned their lesson. Hopefully, Kevin Patullo has learned his lesson going into this game, and the offense has to be more dynamic. Simply does. Um, like I mentioned, I don't think Saquon's going to have a big game. Up that middle, you got Vita Vea, one of the best nose tackles in the game, if not the best, in my opinion. Let me go over some of the defensive matchups. Now, on the defensive end, can they get a sack? That's the question. They had 1 sack last week, and that 1 sack came from a Jordan Davis chase out of bounds on Matthew Stafford, which was amazing. And shout out to Jordan Davis for winning that game essentially for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Rams. That was the biggest matchup. That's the biggest matchup right there. Can they get pressure on Baker Mayfield? Now, if they do get big pressure on Baker Mayfield, can they contain him in the pocket? Baker Mayfield can kill you with his legs. He really can. Maybe not a Jaden Daniels type, but he can still beat you with his legs. And overall, Baker Mayfield is a great competitor at the quarterback position. He's not going to lose them this game, but he can't win them this game. Now, with that said, our cornerback room is looking a little thin. Jacorian Bennett is on IR now. Adoree Jackson was limited at practice. So we're going to see who can step up there. It sounds like it's going to be Keely Ringo. But on the other hand, they're not going up against Mike Evans, who's on IR. Chris Godwin is on. He was questionable going into this game, so I foresee him playing. Baker Mayfield was also questionable going into this game, as also Tristan Wirfs. They're all going to be questionable going into this game, but I do foresee them all playing. This is going to be a matchup won in the trenches. Two really good teams. I think they match up really well. They've always matched up really well. It's going to be in Tampa. It's going to be hot. Can the Eagles win on the lines? If they do, they win this game. If they don't, then it's going to be a long day. Now, it was going to be a long day last week, but they turned it around. So, 60 minutes of football. So we will see. It's going to be hot in Tampa, over 90 degrees. Another thing to look out for, Cardi last week was kicking on kickoffs knuckleballers, We're going to see if the Eagles practice that. We're going to see if they adjusted to that, because at the end of the day, the NFL is a copycat league. Teams will try to copy that and throw the Eagles off or put them deep in there, deep near the end zone. So that's something else to look at as well. So right now, as the matchup stands, whew, I got the Eagles winning this 32-24. The Eagles winning this game. And another thing, last week, the Eagles defense could not stop the run. They couldn't stop Kyron Williams. They couldn't stop Blake Corum. We're going to see if Bucky Irving can go off. Now, he had a lot of carries last week, but he didn't have that much yardage. I want to say 25 carries for 89 yards, something like that, which is not shabby, but that's a lot of carries. So we're going to see if he can go off. That's another scary thing. If Bucky Irving can get going, once again, it's going to be another long day for the Eagles. But overall, I think the Eagles come into this game, they're going to be a little bit healthier. Speaking of healthy, I didn't mention Nolan Smith is on the IR, but that does leave an opening now for Azeez Ojulari and maybe someone else to step up, because respectfully, Nolan Smith did not get a lot of pressure in his first 3 games so far this season. So we're going to see if a new body and the next man up can make a difference on that defensive line. Like I mentioned, got to put pressure on Baker Mayfield. You got to rush his time in the pocket. You can't let him just run wild back there. If he does, he will carve you up, especially this defense with a shaky secondary right now. So, like I mentioned, Eagles 32, Buccaneers 24. That is my matchup review for this week, for week 4. I like our Eagles' chances. I like the Eagles' chances in this game. So, with that said, see you guys next week. Go Birds.